Welcome back everyone, it is Eric from Rare Candy, and today we're going to be trying out an updated version of the Zoroark Toolbox deck, which in fact is the same list that I recently took to the North American International Championships. But this deck definitely isn't new by any stretch of imagination. We've had this for a little bit now. Zoroark has the Phantom Transformation ability, where we can discard it from play and all cards attached and replace it with a stage 1 in our discard pile. So of course, we're basically just trying to choose the correct attacker for whatever matchup we need to ideally take big one-hit KOs. But the big issue is that earlier this year, the rotation just kind of left this deck unplayable, for lack of a better term. But thanks to a bunch of new cards from the recent Paldea Evolved set, this deck is back and better than ever, and that's why we are going to be trying this thing out. But before we get any deeper into today's video, if you guys do need any code cards to complete this deck or any others, you can check out our friends over at PTCGL Use that coupon code RARECANDY at checkout for a discount. And Rare Candy's patrons not only had early access to this deck, but also have their own exclusive discount code for even bigger savings. Links to those will be down below in the description. But continuing on here, as mentioned, we do need stage 1 Pokemon to transform into with this. So what are we actually choosing to pair with Zoroark? Our first attacker is going to be Titan here, and this guy is a new card from Paldea Evolved and is mainly going to be for the different basic multi-prize Pokemon out there, so like Miraidon EX, Chien-Pao EX, even some of the basic Pokemon V. And even though the attack cost on this card and some of our other Pokemon here do look a little bit wonky, you do have to remember we did just get that reversal energy from Paldea Evolved, which of course is going to be in this deck list, that will allow us to power up these massive attack costs. Our next sort of like reversal energy based attacker is going to be Hisuian Arcanine. And I think it's actually probably Zoroark's best fighting attacker it's ever had, just because it can take a one shot on Arceus V-Star and also Miraidon EX with that Scorching Horn attack. If we have any fire energy attached, it does 80 plus 80 and burn. So even though we're not playing any fire energy, the new reversal energy is going to provide that fire energy for us to allow us to take those big one-hit KOs on these different fighting weak Pokemon. But next up, definitely one of our weirdest looking inclusions is going to be Spidops. And Spidops actually does serve a couple of different roles in our deck. One of them is going to be to allow us to be able to one-shot Tyranitar V. So even though we technically have other ways where it's possible to one-shot Tyranitar, I think if you're playing against a competent Lugia player who knows how to play around the Appleton that we have here in the deck, you don't actually have a way at one-shotting them. So this is going to be able to deal with Tyranitar, but also we are using it for the Entangling Trap attack, where both players have to shuffle their actives back into their deck. This is mainly to get around Duraludon VMAX, because Duraludon, of course, walls against Pokemon with special energy attached. And that's our entire deck. So I think a common strategy the Duraludon player might do is lead the game with their Arceus, and once that gets knocked out, they just don't bench anything else and just sort of try to shut you out of the game with Duraludon's ability. But if they do go that route, Spidops actually just wins you the game by eliminating their only Pokemon. Or if they do have other Pokemon in play, well, now you're forcing your opponent to start attacking you once again with Pokemon that you can actually deal with. Like I mentioned, we do also have a copy of Appleton. This is going to be for our Lugia matchups for that thick mucus attack, where we do 70 for each special energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. But we're also playing the other Applet evolution. That is going to be Flapple. And Flapple is actually probably our best all-around attacker in the deck that does 50 for each of your opponent's Pokemon play that has an ability. And even though we do have the Appleton and the Spidops, we also do have Raichu just to further solidify that Lugia matchup for us. So after they've used their V-Star power, we're going to hit for 280 damage after weakness, magic number to knock out Lugia V-Star. But also if we go against Chien-Pao and they're using Palkia, after they use their V-Star power, this is another option we have to one-shot Palkia. We've got our Mightyena in the deck to be able to one-shot Mew for 0 energy, which is very nice. It's kind of like our Drapion V of the deck. But I actually will point out, I think Mightyena has actually gotten better as an attacker thanks to reversal energy, because now against Gardevoir, we can actually use Mightyena as an attacker to boss up their Gardevoir and one-shot it with Wild Tackle here. So not just a card you can use in your Mew matchups now, which is pretty cool. And pretty appropriately, our final stage 1 of the deck is going to be Slowbro for that Twilight Inspiration attack, where if your opponent only has a single prize card remaining, we instantly take 2 prizes. So very frequently, this is going to be our big closer of the game. And as you probably noticed by now, we are playing the Corellia engine with this deck. This is going to be our main way of tossing away the stage 1 Pokemon with this refinement ability to see some cards in the process as well. And I think the only other like super notable Pokemon we have here is going to be Hisuian Basculin. And because it's a 0 energy attack, we can just hard retreat into this guy and get our basic setup a little bit better. Now for our trainer cards here, the only additions I really want to highlight other than the awesome new inclusions of Artazon and Super Odd is actually going to be our supporter line that we're rolling with here. I think a lot of people, at a glance, would think to play Professor's Research in a deck like this, but gotta be honest, I really don't like Research in this deck. I've never really been a big fan of it in the archetype in general, just because the big issue with Zoroark is that you can't actually attach energy before transforming, otherwise you lose the energy. So let's say you have energy in hand plus a research, well, you have to research away your energies, find Zoroark, then another energy afterwards. So instead, I think we want to play cards that aren't discarding our hand, or at least not our entire hand, and just trying to expand it with cards like the Worker. And I really do like this because there's a couple of stadiums in particular that really hurt this deck. The big one's going to be Lost City. You can't let Lost City stay in play for more than a single turn. So between our actual 2 Artazons that we're playing, plus the 3 Worker, this should be enough to guarantee the stadium bump on the turn that it comes down, because otherwise, if that thing gets left in play, your opponent's just going to keep discarding your attackers and removing them from the game at that point. But like I said, we do have a couple copies of Serena as well. I do like Serena better than Research here because not only can we use this to get rid of our stage 1s that we want to transform into, but this also does give us a way at gusting up different Pokemon V that are in the format. But even though we do have the 3 Serena, we also have 1 Boss's Orders. We have Pokemon EX running around. We have single prize Pokemon running around. So we do need some ways at being able to gust up those Pokemon in those matchups too. But of course, the big new card that I've kind of been alluding to throughout this video so far is going to be the Reversal Energy. So if Reversal Energy is attached to a non-rule box evolution and you're behind on prize cards, it provides a triple rainbow energy at any given point. So of course this will power up things like our Hisuian Arcanine, Spidops, etc. But also, even if we are tied or ahead on prizes, this still does provide a colorless energy, which means we can still attack with cards like Appleton, Flapple, or like the Raichu as an example. We have 1 copy of Gift Energy to refill our hand up to 7 if the Pokemon with it is knocked out by damage from an attack. And then we also have 2 copies of Jet Energy, which I think is a deceptively great card in this deck. So in the Gardevoir matchup specifically, the big way they can win that matchup against you is if they use Boss's Orders to bring up a Corellia, and then use Cresselia to snipe your attackers behind that Corellia that's stuck in the active. So in this instance, what you can do is you can now transform into a Flapple if you want to, then use Jet Energy to bring it to the active to knock out their active Cresselia. So that's going to round things out for the Zoroark Toolbox deck we're trying out today, guys. I think if we can manage to dodge Lost Box and also the Rapid Strike deck that wound up winning NAIC, I think you're in a good spot. This deck does great against things like the Miraidons of the world, Arceus decks, etc. Mainly really any multi-prize deck. So if we can manage to run into some of those today, I think we're going to be in good shape. But with that being said, guys, remember to smack that like button for me, feed that YouTube algorithm, and let's jump in some games and see how Zoroark is going to do. This hand's not great, but it is workable. Assuming we don't prize Basculin, we can at least have a decent turn 1. Oh, but there's going to be Raikou. Okay, so if this is Lost Box, we kind of just lose. I don't really see how we ever beat Lost Box. Like, you have to get extremely lucky. Like, extremely lucky. They have to brick, or they have to put down like a ton of multi-prizers like Raikous and Dragonites or something like that. But this is, generally speaking, a really horrendous matchup. Especially because with Sableye, they can actually play around Reversal Energy by just like spreading to all of your different Pokemon on the bench without taking knockouts. But our opponent is a little bit conflicted over here. Okay. I'm assuming our opponent's like AFK or something. I guess in that case, we'll just do this. Sure. Basculin is in the deck. That's good. See, we got Flapple. That's a pretty important one most of the time. Now, let's see. Did we prize Manaphy? Okay, we do have Manaphy. That could be good if this is Lost Box. But I'm still not sure what deck we're actually going against here. So let's just retreat. And we're just going to use Gather the Crew. I'm probably just going to get 2 Ralts here. So if this is Miraidon and they just bring up Zorua and knock it out, that's fine. I think we can win this matchup even by hemorrhaging like 3 prizes. So I'm not worried about that. Okay, and it is going to be some sort of Miraidon deck, it looks like. So I'm not sure what happened to our opponents last turn. They, I don't know, maybe they misclicked and just passed over us. I'm not sure. But maybe we can survive a turn. Now, one thing is a little bit unfortunate. Regilucky V can actually knock out our Basculin with just a single lightning energy. That feels kind of bad. I'm just hoping we can top deck something that we can discard with Kirlia, because I really don't want to discard any of our pieces with refinement, because we actually want every Pokemon in our hand right now. Okay, but there's gonna be the electric generator. Kind of sus there, just powering up Miraidon. I don't think they realized that Regilucky actually just gets them a KO here. So I'll take it. That makes life easy on me. Okay, and there's going to be the switch taking the KO. So, again, kind of bummed they are putting on some pressure to us and not letting us stabilize a little bit, but I still feel okay. As long as we don't just brick, this should be like one of our easiest matchups, because we already have the Hisuian Arcanine in the discard pile. We're not even really looking for much else, to be honest. So I think we're just going to set up the Zorua, because if we just get a reversal energy, we can take a KO here. Let's see. Well, that is unfortunate. I think we have to get rid of the Zorua here, as much as I hate to say that. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Feels bad. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. And we're just going to Serena for 5 here. And we're just hoping that we can hit reversal energy. We do not, but we do get a Zorua. That's good. Got a refinement. Now, unfortunately, if they had one more Pokemon with an ability, Flapple actually would get us the KO here. Then that feels bad, guys. So we'll get down Zorua. I mean, we could even just go for the 2-shot. I actually don't hate that, because we can use gift energy as well. So again, a little bit unfortunate. We did miss our reversal energy there, but still like not the end of the world overall. So let's just go ahead and Super Rod here. We have 3 Pokemon in the discard we want back, so. And we'll just go for the Acidic Mucus. So again, we're just shy of the knockout. We don't have Defiance Band or anything weird like that, so we're stuck with like the flat 200 here. I feel like one of the only ways our opponent might be able to win is to like force us into like a 7 or 8 prize game. Like, I feel like their path to victory at some point involves using Regilucky to attack us and switch into Radiant Greninja. Okay, there's Regilucky VMAX. I'm cool with that. That's another ability coming into play for us. And it also makes it a little bit easier on us too, because the more Pokemon with abilities they have in play, it means the less reliant we are on reversal energy to get our KOs. I think the only way we ever get in trouble in this matchup is if our opponent plays like Lost City in here. Things could get a little sketchy. I mean, they do play Beach Court, so they might not, but I think that's the only thing that makes me skeptical if we can win this one. Otherwise, again, this should be one of our deck's better matchups, absolutely. Unless maybe they also play some weird lightning single prizers we don't know about. Not sure, but right now I think we're feeling pretty good. Okay, pretty good cards we got off of that gift energy. So even though I normally would want to Iono, then start using Kirlia on the other end of it, I actually might just go ahead and get rid of the slow burn now while we have the opportunity. So yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to refinement, toss away this guy. Okay, that's pretty good. So Nest Ball, get down this. And do we have our other Kirlia in deck? We do, okay. So we'll go ahead and get down the Ralts here. We have a ton of energy in hand, which makes me think about using another refinement here to try to hit Zoroark. If we hit more energy, though, that would feel really awful. But I think we're going to go for it. We have so much energy in hand, I would hate to lose it. If we were just going to hit a Zoroark here. Okay, we do not. So, we're just going to go for the Iono. So we need Zoroark plus any energy. That'll work. Okay, and we did get there. That's awesome. So we'll do this. What do we actually transform into? I think we'll do Arcanine just in case they boss around Flapple. Because there is a world if they powered up like a Regieleki V Max and then bossed a Kirlia or something, we wouldn't be able to get a KO with the Flapple that would be remaining in place. This seems good. And we could bump their stadium, but I'm not going to until we have a free bench spot here. I'm fine with them actually having their retreating method. So let's just knock out Raikou here. But we have all of our key Pokemon in the discard at this point. So now we're just going to be trying to find Zoroark plus energy every turn. That's our path to victory now. I mean, we want to do that anyways, but we don't need really anything beyond that, I should say. Our opponent seems a little bit conflicted about what they want to promote here. I think you just probably, yeah, throwing up Miraidon's fine. You have Beach Court in play. Also throwing up Regieleki wouldn't be bad since it has free retreat, but now one thing that is kind of nice too is we could potentially knock this thing out without actually having to transform, which could be good. Because if you don't have to transform, it does give you flexibility. If they boss around your Zoroark, you might be able to transform on the next turn, but... And there's going to be the Iono. It feels bad. Our hand was actually pretty good. Okay, this is definitely fine as well. Okay, we do still have one double turbo left, so just trying to think in case they do go the Regieleki route. Okay, but just going to knock us out with Miraidon. That's actually perfect. Wouldn't have it any other way here. How many generators do they even have left? They've played a good bit. Oh, they played all 4. Okay, never mind. So we don't even have to worry about the Regieleki VMAX play. If we're just having to go toe-to-toe with Miraidons, yeah, we're winning this one 100%. Unless something unforeseen happens, like a game-breaking PTCG live bug, that definitely is something I could imagine going down here. So, Aroma, okay. So I think I'm just going to grab the Zoroark, just guarantee it. And we're also just going to bump the stadium with Worker here. So between the Worker and 3 Curlies, we should hit some sort of energy. Yeah, there we go. That is perfect. So let's just do this. So Refinement, we're going to toss away some Titan over here. Capturing Aroma again. Probably just get rid of Raichu, though Mighty Yen is actually not bad here, just because they do have a VMAX in play, so we can actually use Wild Tackle without energy, so this seems like a good Pokemon to grab. And you have a Level Ball. Grab another Zorua. Guess we'll just Refinement away this Worker, that seems okay. And yeah, so we can actually just Night Daze here. So we'll do that. Even if they Iono us to 2 and we whiff for a couple turns, we still have, what, 3 turns left to find Slowbro plus Double Turbo or Reversal. So we really don't even have to do much at this point. We just have to let our opponent play the game. And we should be able to win without actually doing damage the rest of the game. Okay, so there's going to be the Forest Seal Stone. I would imagine we're going to see an Iono or maybe a Lightning Energy if they don't have one already. But Iono would be pretty good here, since our hand is insane currently. So there's going to be a Tandem Unit. So if they bench another Pokemon with an ability, that would be good for us, because then we can use Flapple. Okay, so they're not going to. But if they evolve this guy, that would be good, because then we could knock out this Miraidon. Okay, so it looks like they're setting that up for us, but I don't think they should actually evolve here, just because now Like, now we can basically use any energy in our deck to get a KO on this Miraidon. So I almost feel like the better play would have been to maybe, like, attack with Regieleki V, because they'd be doing, what, 90, 60, 90, 120. Yeah, that actually would have got them the KO. And then they could have just switched into Greninja. But, hey, we'll take it. We actually have game in hand already. We have the Zoroark plus the energy. So we can actually just take a KO with Flapple, and that will be the end of it. So that is going to be a wrap. And you can really see, like, how good the Zoroark deck can be against some of these multi-prize decks like this. So there's going to be the Flapple, Reversal Energy, and Acidic Mucus for the game. Now, to be fair to our opponent, like, going against the Zoroark deck is weird if you're not familiar with what it's trying to do and all of its attackers. So sometimes it can be hard to play around its strategy, but yeah, they walked right into what we were trying to do in that game. Okay, pretty workable hand that we have here. We got Supporter for next turn. We got a Kirlia ready to go. Plenty of Pokemon Search, and we're getting a mulligan here. What is this? If it's Pokestop, that actually has me a little bit worried, because it either means they're playing Lost Box or they're playing probably Chin Pao with Canceling Cologne, and we're probably afraid of that just slightly less than Lost Box, if we're being honest. Oh? I may have spoke too soon. I can safely say I don't know what we're going against. I know Claydol has an ability that accelerates energy out of a discard, so we'll see what happens. I have no idea what to expect at this point. So I think we're just going to do this. I'm assuming we're not going to get attacked on the first turn. And yeah, we're just going to get another Ralts here. I don't know if they can attack on first turn, so this seems okay if they can. And we'll see what happens. We'll just pass. So are they going to be pairing with their Claydols? Because Claydol, I believe it's like once during your turn, if you have, like, is it 0 cards in hand? Or no, if you have no supporters in your discard pile, I think that's what it is. You accelerate an energy from discard to one of your Pokemon, or maybe it's benched. It's something like that. But what are they actually pairing with it? Could be Ting-Lu. Definitely could be an option, which that would be scary. If this is Ting-Lu with Claydol, I don't think we're actually winning this one unless they just brick somehow. Okay, so we're going to see Bidoof go down. That's good. That's a card we don't want on the board. Well, it does have an ability, so it would, in theory, fuel Flapple, but there's going to be Squawkabilly. Again, just curious what they're pairing with all of this. So just an attachment of Squawkabilly, okay? There's going to be Rope. I think we'll just... I'll say sure. I don't know if this is a mistake. Maybe there's something in their deck they can attack with like Gutsy Pickaxe or something. I'm not sure. But we're about to find out here. Okay, there's the Squawk and Seize. Oh, and it is Ting-Lu. Oh, bro, are you kidding me? Okay. Well, that is tragic, for lack of a better term. Now, I will say Ting-Lu is weak to grass here. So, there is a world where we just preemptively transform into Spidops, which could be pretty good for us. So, I don't think we actually Pokestop here. Our energy is too precious, so I think we're just going to Worker. We might have to retreat this Zorua. So I'd really like to find a different energy, do hard retreat this Zorua, and then transform into Spidops. That would be ideal here. This is going to be a tough one, guys. I'm not going to lie. So we have to retreat this thing. And Phantom Transformation into Spidops. This is going to be a challenging one. Like I said, guys, I'm actually going to be a little bit surprised if we end up winning this one. Because, like, the big issue with Ting-Lu, of course, it shuts off the abilities of your opponent's Pokemon with damage counters on them. So if they preemptively get down damage counters on our Zoruas, they can't ever actually transform into the Pokemon that we want. So what would be horrible is if they like bossed up Spite Ups here, but they're not going to if they're playing Claydol. But they could be playing Cross Switchers. Okay, so we just promote the Spite Ups, we have the Reversal Energy ready, and now I think we're actually feeling a little bit better here. So let's just go for the Super Rod. Get back these guys. Do we Iono them? That gives them one more card. So I think we're actually just going to Serena here. And we'll keep the energy in case we do need to hard retreat. Like if they play another Escape Rip or something. Okay, so then we're just going to go for the Hammer In. Now it is unfortunate. We are now going to be up in prizes, which means we probably can't put on any pressure on this next turn, but we did get rid of the big threat. So Flapple definitely might be one of our next Pokemon we want to get in the discard. We might have to like just start preemptively transforming into stuff, which is something you like never want to do with Zoroark. But we'll see here. So there's some Claydol going to hand. So let's double check on this. I'm pretty sure they have no supporter cards. Okay. Yeah, no supporters. They can accelerate a fighting energy. So if they have a switch, they can actually just knock us out here, which would be kind of a bummer. Yep, they can. Good news is we can, if we can find Flapple, we can at least put on some pressure back to Koraidon. One thing is unfortunate, we don't really have a great like psychic attacker in the deck. Look, we don't play the Glade or anything like that. So let's just go ahead and work her, I think. They don't have Bidoofs down or anything, so I don't want to Iono and help get them into draw cards. Okay. So Refinement, let's get rid of the Appleton here. So I think we just pass, unfortunately. Another thing that is kind of awkward too is Koraidon has 230 HP, which means Titan here can't knock it out either. So Koraidon is actually a surprisingly decent attacker against our deck. Now I guess one good thing is it actually can't Wild Impact. Oh, but they're going to get rid of 2 Howluches. That's actually huge. So I might just see them use... Yeah, they might just start to power up Ting-Lu this turn. So this is definitely going to be a turn where we need to preemptively... Okay. Yeah, we're definitely just going to preemptively evolve into Spite Ops again. Okay, we're definitely not going to put down Artazon because that could help them get a Bidoof, which we definitely don't want them to do. Oh yeah, we can't use Curlia right now either. They're probably never going to have a Pokemon V in play, so I don't think Serena's going to be particularly useful. So it's just Phantom Transformation. Go for Spite Ops. So I might even preemptively attach to Curlia. Just to give this give us a pivot in play. So if they do play catchers, I don't want to get down Reversal Energy. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant about doing that. So I'm just going to do this. And Serena. And we're just going to pass over to our opponent, I think. Okay, there's Gutsy Pickaxe. There's going to be a switch. Okay. We're not too worried about that. Just curious what the last card in their hand is going to be. Okay, there's just the knockout on the Zoro. That's best case scenario. Again, I'm just kind of afraid of Pokemon catchers. That's the big card I don't want to see anymore. So let's do this. I'm actually half tempted to Iono now, but we still have our boss left in deck too. So after we get this KO, there is a world where we could boss to get around the ability lock on Ting-Lu. So I think we're actually going to do this here. Yeah, we'll just Iono. So Artazon. Yep, that's cool. Aroma. Okay, that's good. That will allow us to get our Ralts over here. And I'm actually going to save the level ball to maybe grab our Flapple. So then, yeah, we'll just take the knockout on Ting-Lu. And now we are back in the game. Like at this point, we just need... Like if they ever bench another Pokemon with an ability, we're just a boss away from winning. Oh, now I probably should have checked to see if our boss was actually in deck. That is important. But we'll see. Yep, we knew we were going to see a Bidoof come down. That's fine, though. So it looks like this Iono definitely did help them a little bit here, but we're fine with that at this point, guys. There's not too much I'm really afraid of them doing to us. It's more just like, can we find boss to win? Okay, there's me a Koraidon. Do they bench that? Now, if they bench one more Pokemon, we actually can knock Koraidon out with our Flapple. Assuming it's in deck. I wasn't paying attention to see if it was. But we have that level ball ready to go, and we have the energy. So we're going to be in a good spot if it actually is still in deck here. Okay, so there's going to be the knockout. Moment of truth. Do we actually have this one? So promote little Zoro over here. Oh, no, we do still need Zoroark too. That is actually relevant. Okay, that answers that question. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to Super Rod. And I think we're just going to try to... I'm actually just going to do the one Zorua, because I kind of just want to win this turn. But we definitely want Zoroark back in our deck here, if at all possible. So Artazon. Get down our Zorua. Just trying to thin as much as possible before we start digging. Okay, so let's toss away Flapple. Okay. Okay, that's not good. We need a Zoroark over here. And Worker. And we do get there, guys. Awesome. That was almost kind of sketchy. Not gonna lie. So from there, we can just go for the Phantom Transformation. Get rid of this guy. Go for the Flapple, and that is going to be the game. So luckily for us, Ting-Lu wasn't able to stop our board from getting set up. And the Spot Ops actually might have even saved us. If we didn't have the Spot Ops, this game might have been a little bit sketchier, but somehow managed to take the dub against Ting-Lu EX. Alright guys, that's going to do it today for the Zoroark Toolbox deck. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this deck definitely is going to struggle against decks like Lost Box, and of course the Rapid Strike deck. Really just any deck that can reliably snipe stuff on the bench is really difficult for us to deal with, but if you can manage to dodge those decks and hit the Lugias of the world, the Miraidons of the world, even Gardevoir, etc., Zoroark actually does feel like a pretty solid deck against a lot of the other major players in the game right now. But if you guys did enjoy today's content, as always, remember to leave a like on the video. And if you're feeling maybe a little extra generous, you can always become a patron at patreon.com/rarecandytcg or pick up some merch at rarecandytcg.com. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.